It's Monday, December 1st, 2025. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. Our storm system starting to take shape, that moisture building that is going to slide right toward the east coast of the U.S., parts of the mid-Atlantic, northeast, and the Atlantic region of Canada. I want to show you specifically some of the rain totals. We'll go model by model in this video, a lot to cover. And if you're subscribed, I'll put out some additional updates and you'll get those notifications first as we go forward, as we watch the system. Let's start here. I want to jump ahead just a little bit late into tomorrow. Again, the American model still has this track a little bit more to the north. With that, some significant snow totals. The American model with more of a northerly track is putting out some higher snow totals in some spots. Meanwhile, we take a look at this. This is the European model, a little bit more to the south as far as the center of this goes, that lower some of the snow totals. And this is one of those situations we just really need to see how it evolves as we go forward, right? Pretty much locking in with some of the snow totals, which I'll show you specifically region by region in this video. But with that said, there are going to be some changes throughout as we watch this storm system kind of take shape. It hasn't even developed yet, really developing as we go throughout the day. Now, showing you this, here's a different outlook for us. Here's the American model showing the potential for some of that snow. Now, one of the things I really like about YouTube is you can put a pause on this, even zoom down depending on which device you're using, and get a good look at that. This would keep the I-95 corridor mainly a rain event. Of course, inland, we'll see some of those higher snow totals based on the American model. But you see here the European model with more of that southerly track, not as much moisture, still some snow totals that will be significant in some spots. You see the scale right at the bottom of your screen. But with that said, again, still the I-95 corridor for the most part, dealing with rain. Maybe we get a little bit of a wet snow mix that works in, but that snow back toward the north. But you see there how some of the snow totals are lower. And again, I'll get even more specific on this in this video. Thank you for your patience. A lot to cover, no doubt. Here's a version of the European model which uses AI, and this is what I would lean to. It's almost a blend now of the regular European model and the American model. So this here, if you were just to take a good sample, this would be the best feel at this point. Again, I-95 corridor, not a whole lot, maybe at least getting brushed by some snow. Some of the surfaces that may be a little bit colder may stick, others may not, but seeing those snow totals inland, which I want to break down for you. Now, let me show you here how this storm system forms first, and then we'll zoom down and even get a look at some of the icing. So this is today, that moisture, as expected, as I've been showing you the last few days, really pulls in from the Gulf and lifts to the north. Heavier rain, Carolina south, even some icing. We'll talk about that in North Carolina in just a second. Backside of this and north side, there's the snow, New York, Pennsylvania, parts of Ohio, West Virginia. I'll zoom into the Midwest and Canada, not leaving anyone out on this channel as we work forward. Then you see it kind of pivoting over here. The center could be near Cape Cod and the islands, maybe a little bit more to the south. That'll depend on exactly how much snow in some spots. As far as the location of snow, that's kind of getting fine-tuned at this point, kind of starting to get locked in. But this here would be by the time we work our way into tomorrow afternoon. Now, let me just show you this first, then we'll get into the snow totals. This is later tomorrow. Here's that kind of spin here to show you the winds, miles per hour and kilometers an hour on your screen to give you a feel. But you see the gusty winds mainly offshore, even over through the Outer Banks of North Carolina, duck over toward Corolla, make it some gust of about 50 miles per hour. Some gusty winds, 40, 50 miles per hour, Rhode Island, back through the Cape and the islands, and then swinging back toward Nova Scotia. Even some gustier winds, coastal sections of northern New England. Strong flow out of the Cape Cod Bay coming out of the north, and you see the strongest winds, some of those gusts in the open waters of the Atlantic of about 70 miles per hour, but some of that could clip by Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and Newfoundland, watching that. Even parts of New Brunswick, of course, eastern sections closer to the water with some of the strong winds. And then you see the center of this storm system by the time we hit late on Wednesday near the Avalon Peninsula, and then after that, it will be pulling away. So that gives you a handle on kind of the overall track of this. Now, let's see how this evolves. This is later today into tonight. Let's take you through it here. This is by the time we get into tomorrow morning. Now, you see again that snow rain line through here. Here's the icing, which I'll highlight parts of West Virginia, Virginia, even North Carolina. We'll get into that, but the backside, the snow, Charleston, back through Pittsburgh, Altoona, Harrisburg, on the edge of it in Philadelphia, edge of it in New York, edge of it in Hartford, edge of it in Providence, edge of it in Boston, Boston, north and west. Albany, for example, dealing with some of the snow. Watching Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine with some of the snow. That mix along the coast. This here is midday tomorrow. And then as we work our way forward, you see the center of that heavier rain, Delmarva, kind of pivoting back toward the Cape and the islands. And you can see Cumberland back toward Providence, up toward Southborough on the edge of some of the snow. Southborough, we should be getting some of that snow. Worcester as well, watching over toward the Boston area on the edge of it. It'll either be substantial cold rain or getting a little bit of that snow mixing in. Then late on Tuesday, you see the snow, coastal parts of New England, heavier rain working in as we build back toward parts of Nova Scotia, which I'll show you in a second. Then by the time we get into Tuesday night, this area starts to depart for New England, but again, moving right into the Atlantic region of Canada. Let me show you that again, region by region, and then we'll cover some of the snow totals. So this here is by the time we get into tomorrow morning. There's the snow coming out of Ohio, watching Pennsylvania, New York right there. We could get some snow flurries at least starting, say over toward parts of Hartford, Glastonbury, Manchester, lifting up to the north. There's the snow on the backside of it. But looking longer term here, as we get into Tuesday night, there's some of the heavier rain, Nova Scotia, coastal sections of Maine, snow on the back side of it. Then by the time we get into tomorrow night, right around midnight, heavier rain, coastal sections of the Maritimes, so getting back toward Canada. And then there's going to be this sliver of some snow. It'll be a sliver, but where it sets up, it'll be substantial as far as those totals go. Some heavier snow swinging right through here by the time we get into Wednesday afternoon. The center of this trying to pull right offshore of the Avalon Peninsula, the strong winds and some of that snow wrapping in the backside. Then late into Wednesday night, that's when the system kicks out of the Atlantic region of Canada. Now we get a look at what's going on here. I want to swing back toward the Midwest as promised. Just as this develops, as this evolves, right, we're going to see some snow kind of scraping by once again with some additional totals. So you can see the scale here. Here are the additional totals covering everyone, not leaving anyone out. Watching over toward Missouri, Illinois, back toward Michigan, and I'll lift to the north in just a second. This gives you a feel of some of the snow totals, maybe an inch or two of some snow in spots. The closer we get, or the more east we get, that's where those totals get higher. See anywhere from about 3 to 5 inches of rain. Johnstown, Altoona, Pittsburgh, just to give you kind of a sampling on that. Now lifting to the north here, Wisconsin for the most part, not a whole lot, a little bit more so as we work our way back toward the lakes, and then watching over toward Ontario and Quebec. And you can see here, let me give you a feel of some of those snow totals. Again, watching the key here, you can see as we work our way back toward Chicago, there could be an additional couple inches of some snow. Same thing as we work our way back toward Detroit, Toronto, 1 to about 2 inches of rain. Kind of a close call on the backside of this, like I-95 is a close call with rain and snow. Backside of it is a close call with maybe not a whole lot or getting at least a couple inches of some snow. Then we swing here, shifting over as we slide our way back toward the east even more so, and you can see that sharp divide right through here. That rain snow line, that's generally going to hold even regardless of if the American model or the European model is right, generally going to hold. The difference will be some of those snow totals based on those models, and you can see the difference here, how certain models are putting out a little bit more. But for the most part, we get back toward DC, Baltimore, back toward Philadelphia. We're looking at mainly a rain event. May get a little snow mixing in if things break in that direction. We'll see it. It's a well-advertised system, so nothing will catch us off guard. New York, again, mainly rain. Maybe we get a little bit of snow trying to filter in, but for the most part, not sticking even if we do. In Boston, always a tricky spot as far as being on the edge of it. Yesterday was showing a little bit more possibility of an inch or two. Now things have kind of backed off a little bit. We'll wait and see. We're watching it in Boston, then we swing back toward Albany. The European model showing 3 inches of rain. The American model showing 7. The snow totals, though, have gone down a little bit. The trend in a couple of the models have been down a bit, but still getting a decent snow as we work our way back toward the Albany area. This is where that grid data does cut off, but this gives you a feel, and I never leave anyone out. So let me pop this on, and then I'll expand out in just a second. Here are those 3-day snow totals. Montreal, anywhere from about 1 to 2 inches of rain. Again, Boston on the edge of it. We'll see if we could squeak out an inch, but even if it's on the higher side in Boston, which would be about an inch or so, some of that would not be sticking, of course. course, to at least start with the relatively warm surface. Really got to factor that in this time of year. Then we swing back toward parts of Nova Scotia where we could get a couple inches of rain, or snow rather. And same thing as we work our way back toward Newfoundland. I mentioned somewhere in this sliver, though, there could be about 4 to 5 inches of rain. So we're looking, or snow rather, we're looking at a significant snow in spots of the Atlantic region of Canada. You see as we swing right back through here, 100 millimeters of snow, a possibility, if not more in some spots. So it's going to be that sliver, but the sliver could be a little bit more here, a little bit more to the south. But where that sets up, especially just away from the water, that's where we'd have more in the way of snow. As far as the icing goes, some of this could just simply be sleet, which would be manageable trying to creep in, but there could be a little bit of icing, Asheville to the north. For the most part, as we swing back toward North Carolina, the surface temperatures, while they're colder, no doubt, this time of year, they're not super cold, so it shouldn't be the biggest of freezing rain events, but even a little bit of freezing rain causes issues, and that's why I'm always giving you the heads up. Harrisonburg south through Roanoke, watching Blacksburg. Swinging back toward Beckley, so Charleston, we're looking at more of that snow back through the Kanawha Valley, but back toward Beckley, that's where we could see a little bit more of that mix with some icing, at least initially. Now swinging out west, tacking on some of the I'm going to use that, the 3-day snow totals. You see as we work our way back toward Colorado, swinging back toward parts of New Mexico, Utah, some additional snow, just to give you a feel, not leaving anyone out. We'll keep an eye on those bigger systems that will eventually move back toward the Pacific Northwest, British Columbia, even down through California as we go forward. So that storm system starting to form today, watching that back toward Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas as it starts to build on the rain side of things and then lifts to the north, and we start to see that snow, parts of Iowa, Missouri on the north side, and then all of that shifting toward the east and northeast, and we'll be watching out for some of that icing tonight that I mentioned. Higher totals, of course, inland as expected, staying on track. Now, in some spots where we could even get a changeover to snow or just simply some snow mix again, it may not stick depending on the surface temperature. So we'll be watching that as well. Winter officially does start in about 3 weeks. So thank you for taking the time to subscribe and being part of this weather channel and sharing it with your friends and family. I'll be watching your comments throughout the day. Have a good start to the week.